course. And yeah, so this is going to be starting off here on Daybreak.
It's going to be exciting.
Now, what do you think about TvT nowadays?
I think it's a coin toss. No, I'm just kidding. TvT is definitely gotten really interesting over the last couple months, and just seeing people. It used to be really quick tech builds. People were opting to go for really early aggression, try and do a lot of harass, and then transitioning to maybe some of the later stages of the game. Now players are opting to do basically anything. People will go early bio. People will go for really greedy, really greedy macro builds, going for 2 or 3 command centers very early. So I think we could see anything, especially out of a player as talented as MMA and ByuN, or players rather.
Fair enough. All right, well, let's get on into the players and positions on the map. Spawning up here in the top right-hand corner, our blue Terran player. It is MMA from Team Acer. Spawning down here in the bottom left-hand corner from Team Prime, our purple Terran player, ByuN.
Yep, we've already seen him play once today. I actually got to watch MMA play once today, and so this is losers round 2. So unfortunately, we're about to lose somebody here.
Yeah, it could possibly be Acer's MMA. He was previously of Slayers, but Slayers disbanded, and he's been picked up by the illustrious Acer team.
Yep.
So I don't know if you know this, but apparently this looks like a Terran player. Actually, a Zerg.
What?
Yeah, Acer doesn't pick up Terrans or anybody else. It's just only Zergs. Yeah,
especially with Scarlet right now, who's apparently she's the only foreigner left in the winners round, I believe. Yeah.
Scarlet's a very good player. I don't know if you know that.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that yet. I was watching her. She was doing a little bit of practice last night. I'm wondering, to be honest, they gave all the players a good time to practice last night. I didn't see many players take advantage of it. I wonder if people are just trying to get adjusted, kind of getting comfortable here. But nerves are definitely something that comes into play, especially when you're playing against the best players in the world.
Oh, certainly. And I mean, not only were players getting adjusted, but players were also gambling. Yeah, I don't know if you saw that, but the proxy. Speaking of gambling and taking your chances,
seriously,
ByuN Prime has thrown down a proxy Rax here. Now, interestingly enough, Acer's MMA has found this proxy Rax, and he's going to try and do a little bit of cute harassment on that SCV.
Nice micro on the SCV from ByuN, actually.
But it finishes.
Yeah, so a lot of players are starting to do that now. You hit the T to stop the SCV, and then right-click again to begin construction, and the SCV may actually jump to another position. So this build is looking, well, it should have been, I believe, QXC's proxy Marauder build. Which, we haven't seen too much lately. I haven't seen in a very long time, actually, but I'm not sure what he's going to do with it at this point.
Yeah, I'm not so sure either.
Is he building Marines? He's building a Marine.
Yeah, he's going straight for Marines. I was actually expecting to see some Tech Lab and Marauder play coming out of that.
Oh, nice micro from MMA, actually, targeting down ByuN's Marine, but it looks like ByuN's going to retain both of those and pull back, and now he has his barracks off in the middle of nowhere, and so what is he to do?
Looks like he's going to keep trying that aggression up. He does have that SCV still. It is taking a little bit of damage and does go down. But MMA's Marine is down to 8. Oh, it does get taken out. And now ByuN Prime is in a really good position. But he does lose his own Marine, has to run all the way back home. There are 2 weakened Marines out here for MMA, but ByuN now has 1 fresh Marine and 1 weakened one.
I feel like they're playing tag with guns right now, and it looks like ByuN is actually falling back to his barracks, trying to keep his Marine count as high as possible, and actually opting to wall off. So he's going to fall back off this. Both players are going for factories, and they're dead even on supply. The only problem is ByuN has, nice, here we go. Looks like we have another engagement. MMA actually doing the better micro. ByuN actually getting 2 Marine kills. Oh, maybe, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Nicely done. It is they're still just about tied, and he's actually building another Marine, but waypointing it back home. And MMA may actually move his Marines down and camp that barracks at this point because he knows he has the Marine advantage.
Yeah, quite true. Now, interestingly enough, again, we see that MMA is going straight for that Hellion instead of going for the Tech Lab, whereas ByuN Prime is grabbing that Tech Lab. We're going to throw that Starport on the Tech Lab and start getting some Banshees out, probably. Unless he really feels like going for a Raven, which is a little bit unorthodox, but you never know with these crazy pros nowadays. The barracks is now, the Factorax is now going back to his home base. He's going home. home.
It looks like ByuN is going to save up enough minerals to build a command center here, probably build it in base, or he's just going to burn a ton of minerals here. Yeah, he's still got 300 left. Could start a Banshee, but he doesn't have the appropriate amount of gas. And now MMA is going to get the full scouting information, taking out a couple of Marines here, but no, the Hellion of ByuN is going to completely deny that.
Speaking of burning minerals.
Oh, jeez.
That Hellion actually is going to be able to get away there with 2 health, going to skirt on way back home. Now, how does a Hellion, an automobile that has pretty much nothing but a couple of rods and a giant gas tank, get away with only 2 health. I would figure there'd be gas leaking everywhere. At least probably the engine would be broken, but
I would say missing tires at least. At least driving on rails. See him start drifting across the map.
Now, if Hellions could drift, that would be the ultimate Fast and the Furious.
Drifting with blue flames.
It's like Fast and the Furious. They had NOS. NOS came out in blue flames for some strange reason. But anyway, yeah, we do have Cloak going down for both of these players here. Banshee's now all on the map as well. And it looks like ByuN already has, his first. Banshee did finish up just a little bit earlier. And he's already on his way over to harass his poor opponent. MMA going for that command center down here at the natural. Yeah,
I was just waiting for ByuN to do the same thing, because it looks like, oh wow, 3 missile turrets are in production from ByuN as well. So can we check the spots? 1, 2, 3. Wow, he is really defensive against this. I guess he really wants to try and deny this, but I feel like the Banshee could just start target firing buildings. And it actually looks like ByuN's Banshee is in, and MMA is starting to target down the Marine count. If he can get it low enough, he doesn't even need to be cloaked at that point, because the SCVs aren't going to do anything. And this Banshee is just going to town, man. How many kills does this thing have? It's up to 8 kills already, taken out a couple more. There's a Viking on the way for MMA, but I think he's losing a little bit too much here.
Yeah, and I mean, the engineering bay wasn't even a thought process in MMA's build just yet until he saw that Banshee. So he did finally finish it up here. But already the missile turret going up. It looks like he is going to try and take out that Banshee. But, is he going to be successful? Yes, he is. That one last Marine does get the killing blow, but another Banshee does come in here. And is starting to pick off the SCVs building the missile turret. It looks like he's not going to be successful in delaying that turret by too much. But he is going to be successful in taking out a couple more Marines. So many deaths here from Banshees in MMA's base. This is not looking too good in that respect. 15-6 in the workers' kill count. Now that one Banshee is alive and cloaked back in ByuN's base and actually take out a supply depot.
That's kind of bizarre. I was going to say, I mean, of all things, the target fire looks like he is going to do. There's actually a Raven on the way, so there's your little wish granted. But I think MMA's delay on the engineering bay was because he did get the early command center. But regardless, ByuN should not have been able to do as much damage as he did. I think he had close to 20 kills in combination between the two. And now there's a Viking out for MMA, and now the uncloaked Banshee is going to get taken out here as long as MMA, or excuse me, as long as ByuN micros this properly. And it looks like, yeah, he's taking good care of this. Command center is on the way for ByuN. We are now at a 12 supply differential, and ByuN is in a great position once again.
Well, he, excuse me, doesn't have his natural command center up just yet, so except for the fact that there's 32-19 in the SCV count right now, he is just a little bit behind in his rate of SCV production. But I definitely think that ByuN is taking a huge lead at this point. But of course, it's TvT. It's all about positioning. It's a very, very strict map like Daybreak, where if you move your siege tanks or your forces into a bad siege position, you're going to lose a lot, and they could easily even this game back up.
I was hoping you wouldn't say anything about chess since we have Drossar in the room again.
No, I don't know anything about chess. I know checkers. Checkers is the fun one.
It looks like actually double command centers coming down from ByuN. So it looks like he knows his advantageous position, and guess what he's going to do with it? He's going to take it and carry it further. That's exactly what he should do. No sort of aggression. Oh, this poor little Marine is just going to get lit up by these 2 Hellions. He gets completely destroyed, and now ByuN's going to go up into the natural, see the placement of it, and right now MMA doesn't have a whole lot to deny. Oh, there's 2 Banshees here as well, so they are going to take it out, but not before ByuN does get full scouting information from his opponent.
Yeah, and this is a really good scouting effort here by ByuN. I mean, $200 to spend, sorry, 200 minerals. $200 for all of our international viewers. 200 minerals, because I can't just start throwing out dollars and, different units that actually exist. But 200 minerals worth of scouting, and it actually was a much more effective than a ComSat. So he got so much information. He does know pretty much that MMA does have this base over here, that the tank production is already on the way, but also MMA does know that ByuN still hasn't grabbed his natural just yet.
Well, now he's aware to it, and actually surprisingly, MMA gets siege tank pretty quick compared to ByuN. ByuN is only about halfway done. SCV is starting to catch up for MMA, is only 6 behind at this point. Army compositions are similar, both with 1 Raven out, similar Marine counts, and it looks like, nice pick off by MMA, actually getting another unit out of position from ByuN. And is MMA going to take a third here? He does have the minerals to do it as well.
Yeah, it looks like he might be going for such a play. Now, he has been behind for a while, but he has actually started to even up the play a little bit. It is 44-37 in the harvester count right now. And he's got more siege tanks. Last I looked, yeah, he has 2-1, 3-1 right now, as well as only a single Raven. So his his Raven to his air superiority is doing all right now.
You know, I like this from MMA. If he does take a third, which he is, there's the third command center. He's going for siege tanks. Why not? You're going to have those defensive units as long as he puts them in great spots. And like you were talking about having air dominance, that's really, really going to come into play here. MMA is going to be able to take that third. Unfortunately for MMA, he's not going to be in too great as far as income because ByuN already has his third done.
Yeah, that he does. Now, where is that? Okay, well, it does still have to float all the way over there. And I don't know if you know this, but command centers rather slow units. They they're really just so slow. You know, I think it'd be really cool if we gave them like Hellion speed.
No.
What would happen if command centers had Hellion speed?
I think StarCraft would break.
I would like to put down that request for Blizzard. Be like, just try it. Just try it. See what happens in HOTS.
There was an interesting Reddit post about, you know, basically say anything you wish would get changed in Heart of the Swarm. And I thought at first reading, I was like, oh, this is going to be, you know, this is going to be crazy. But there were some really, really good recommendations from some people. People were talking about bringing certain units back from Brood War and adjusting certain units. And I thought the expectations were pretty good for people. You
know, and I really like that. I really like that, you know, we keep coming out with all of these different ideas. In the corporate world, we call it ideation.
Oh, sorry. But, not a part of this corporate world.
Yeah, it's not really fun. But, yeah, we can start popping out a whole bunch of these awful words. Synergy between the units. You know, when people start coming up with all these different ideas, it's really great to see that the community is so involved, and they're always thinking about how to make this game better. And it's already a great game already, so it can only go up from here.
So this is probably going to put a frown on MMA's face right now because he did see the third command center from ByuN, so he knows he's not too far ahead. They're both going to get orbitals placed down to their third, and now they're starting to tech. We're going to have what looks like a watchtower coming out, so we might see, what are those things with the two circles called?
Those things with the two circles
where they overlap a little bit.
A Venn diagram?
A Venn diagram.
There we go.
Thank you. Yeah, we're going to see a possibility of a Venn diagram on the minimap. It seems to happen in almost every TvT now, eventually. And so it looks like both players just kind of going the same route, going for 3 base, getting up to 6 gas, getting their tank count and marine count very high. Whoa, there's a huge stim by ByuN for some reason. Did he see a drop?
His sensor tower does see a couple of units back here. He thought it was a drop, wasn't too sure, certain of it, but it's actually only a couple of Vikings and a Raven, so he was playing very defensively, and it was a very good call, very quick response, but that was actually just a bait and switch, as he is going to be going on to the third base here of ByuN Prime with a large amount of siege tanks and a large group of Marines as well.
That distract man using these watchtower against his opponent, or sensor tower against his opponent, very nicely done. Now MMA is in a really good foothold right now. He's digging his cleats into the ground. He's got 3 or 4 siege tanks in a great position. Marines are in a great spot, but here comes what you were talking about earlier, this air superiority.
Yeah, the air superiority here is definitely in ByuN's advantage, and of course, because siege tanks can't actually see their full range that they're able to siege, this is actually a little bit of an interesting spot for ByuN to be into, because he has the air superiority, but at the same time, so many comsats are going down here on by MMA that
is he not going to repair?
Can't even move. Oh,
close, I was wondering. I'm like, he has got a really good at the spot here, and it looks like actually ByuN's going to stem forward. I don't know about this. It actually looks like MMA is going to stem back. They're having a direct engagement with Marines, but it looks like the air superiority along with, wow, ByuN has a superiority over everything. It looks like he's going to clean up majority of this, and the last tank is going to fall here. Yes, it does.
Oh, wow. So very good cleanup there by ByuN. I think he noticed that MMA was actually just focusing down on the orbital command center. So a couple of those siege shots, he moved right on in between those 2 siege salvos, and that was allowing him to get into a really good position with all those Marines and take out those siege tanks.
Are you using more corporate words again?
No, salvo is a military word.
Okay. Just making sure I don't trust you anymore.
It's like 1 round of firing between a group of something. I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds like corporate terms to me. But it looks like they're actually going to meet in the middle here. No siege tanks. There we go. Looks like the first one does go up, and actually looks like MMA is going to stem into it. Dancing back and forth. Very nicely done on both parts, actually. Not losing too many units. And ByuN's going to push forward here, but the siege tanks of MMA are in a decent spot. Who holds the watchtower is going to take the victory in this fight, I feel like. And it looks like it's MMA right now, but ByuN is going to take it over here momentarily.
Yeah, this little watchtower is going to be a huge point of contention here. You need to keep that watchtower, but nobody looks like it's going to be able to. Oh, this is so close. This is so close.
Oh, they're hugging it.
Yeah, it's like both of them are just kind of inching forward, but ByuN Prime's siege tanks are in a better position. You can see that they overlap there. That's one of those Venn diagrams of where are you going to die? It's exactly where all these circles intersect.
Venn diagram? I see what you did there. Yeah, so it looks like MMA is going to pull back. Of course, he didn't have the position that ByuN did, and now, ooh, it looks like ByuN's going to take out the rocks in the center. This is kind of an interesting idea, because then he can actually push down the middle, but it looks like MMA has not had enough. He's going to push back down, might actually catch a bunch of units out of position, but no. ByuN says, no, I'm going to push back with my siege tanks. I'm all lined up, and now MMA has to return home. They both actually have 4th command centers on the way.
Now let's take a look quickly at the upgrades and the situation that's going on here in the game. Right now, ByuN Prime does have 2-2 on his Marines and +1 on his siege tanks, where MMA only has +2, and +2 is just about to finish up shortly here. He does have +3 that's just started, and he's not too far behind on ByuN Prime, but those upgrades do certainly matter in the next couple of minutes. If ByuN was to engage, those Marines would have a little more armor there. But here comes a major engagement, ladies and gentlemen. ByuN in a pretty good position, but not a spectacular position. Acer actually gets a really nice concave.
He's starting to hopscotch those siege tanks forward, which is really going to come into play here. Looks like MMA is going to step forward, but needs to pull back, actually sacrificing so many Marines that he doesn't need to. Oh, it looks like he's going to get pulled back here. It looks like ByuN is still in a great spot. 190 supply versus the 151 of MMA. Air superiority coming into play once again. It looks like ByuN's Vikings are doing so much damage, trying to take out the rocks so he can retreat.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a misclick or what, but he did start taking out those destructible rocks
at the third as well. Looks like ByuN is pushing down there. It actually looks like he forced the command center to be pulled up. ByuN pushing on both fronts. I was wondering where the majority of his supply was, and it looks like he does not get the command center, but he's going to clean up majority of these forces, and there's just a couple units left defending.
And with the huge amount of siege tanks that are in a large concave over here at the natural exit as well, MMA is in a very backed up defense position. He's going to have a little bit of trouble here trying to break out of Prime's 198 food supply advantage. Yeah,
upgrades are definitely going to come into play, which we were just talking about momentarily. It looks like the 3-3 is going to finish up here, or at least +3 weapons. Siege tank build time is exactly the same. And now ByuN is just flooding his opponent. He's overpowered him. He's containing him. He's not going to let him retake that third, and he's just going to basically dry him out at this point of all the dollars that he needs.
Basically dry him out because he doesn't have any bases. He's going to be dry. Never mind. But here comes yet another huge engagement coming out now. All of these Marines are taking up so much of the damage of the siege tanks, which allows ByuN Prime siege tanks to get into beautiful position here. They are a little bit clumped up, but it doesn't really even matter. There are so many of them, and with a sight range advantage as well, they're able to take out a couple more of Acer MMA's siege tanks, and now Acer's MMA has only 4 siege tanks to the 10 of ByuN Prime and 9 Marines compared to the 42 of ByuN Prime.
And what's really hurting MMA here is not only the supply differential, which is just brutal if you can do some simple math, but the fact that MMA has no vision. He doesn't have the watchtower. He can't tell where ByuN's forces are without dropping yet another scan, which is sacrificing, what, like 200 minerals every single time he does it? That's so cost inefficient. So MMA, actually another scan does go down for ByuN, trying to see exactly where MMA is poised his siege tanks, and it looks like he's trying to get in a decent defensive spot, but I don't think it's going to be enough. ByuN can push forward and poke a little bit, sacrificing a handful of Marines, but now the siege tanks are getting in firing range, and I think this is where ByuN's going to take a huge advantage, because he's going to force a liftoff on that command center once again.
And he's just got so many forces pouring in. He did take out the destructible rocks in the middle of the map, so his reinforcements will be able to get straight on into his main army. The containment here is just absolutely too staggering for MMA to deal with. And oh, that poor little Viking. Actually, no, that Viking's doing a lot of damage. He's going to take out that command center by himself.
Eventually, he may
Star Viking right there.
And there you go, MMA trying to take the watchtower back. ByuN everywhere at once, actually able to defend very nicely. There's the GG from MMA, and ByuN going 1-up over MMA right now.
Game number 1 here did go. So, I mean, this is going to be